today I'm continuing on the book of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And I've been given the privilege to share about the law of modeling. Not as in a catwalk. I won't be catwalking here, but it's the law of modeling. So if you thought you're going to see some models walking around here, either in their two-piece or one-piece and high heels, I'm so sorry. This is the business class. So we are just going to talk about the law of modeling. And I hope each and every one of you has been reading the book. If you don't know, please get yourself the book. It's the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. You might be a little bit late to the party because we're almost done. So today I'm covering chapter 13. What is the law of modeling? That's the second slide, Marvin. What's the law of modeling? An introduction, it says, it's hard to improve when you have no one but yourself to follow. It is hard to improve when you have no one but yourself to follow. Personal growth without the benefit of mentors could only take you that far. John Maxwell says that he came to the realization that to become a leader that you want to be, he needed to follow models who had gone ahead of him. Why? Because it's hard to improve when you have no one but yourself to follow. Third slide, please. So what's the law of modeling? It means that we learn to grow by observing and emulating those who have experience, those who are successful, by studying their behaviors and attitudes and the strategies they've used to develop their own skills. But most people who decide to get mentors, some of them decide to use books, like what we've been doing in the business class. We started off by learning. So far, I think this is the third book we are on. We are using books as mentors for us. And it's a great place to start because sometimes it's not very easy just to get a mentor. I've had the privilege of connecting to people that I've always admired. When I was at university, I always wanted to connect with people that knew things that I didn't know. Even in this church, there are some people I've admired from afar because I want to learn what they know. So it means that we learn by observing and emulating those who are successful. As a church, we are learning from Worship Harvest. We are learning from Mavuno. We are learning from Fanero. We are learning from, what's the church in Sweden? I was going to say IBC. It's not IBC. It's City Church. So because they've done things that we admire as liberty, so we are following them. They are our models. So what does the law of modeling mean? It means that we grow and learn by observing others. On the business service, we've had people here that have come to share about their businesses. And what are we doing? Are we taking the step to learn from what they're doing? So we learn, it means that we learn and grow by observing. Next slide, Marvin. But there are 6 criteria that John Maxwell talks about. Who is a worthy model? Not everyone out there is good to follow. So he starts by saying that a good mentor is a worthy example. A good mentor should have all the qualities of the things that you want in that person. And he says we become what we are by looking at those models. So we follow them because we want to become what they are. It's not just about their professional excellence that they possess, but it's the skills we learn from them. I don't know what's happened to my microphone. Maybe it's me moving around, but I don't think so. But we must learn to, I know Jonah is here. He's a teacher. I don't think that the profession he's in can be different from the behaviors he models outside of the classroom or outside of the school. So we have so many celebrities, and most of our young people, even the older people, likes following those celebrities. But a good mentor should embody the things that the qualities and behaviors we aspire. When I just came to this country many years ago, it was the period of the Spice Girls. Oh my goodness, every home I went in, every little girl was singing as a Spice Girl, was walking as a Spice Girl, was dressing up as a Spice Girl, and everyone was singing, "If you want to be something." So they wanted to model the Spice Girls. But we here in the business service, we want to model businesses that are good. We've had people talk about care industry, how they started their agencies. We've had people talk about mortgages. We have the pastor from Kent, Victor. We've got people who have talked about the different businesses they've done. But are you looking at the experiences that these people have had? We have politicians, and sometimes we admire them. But do they have the characteristics of the things we want to model in our businesses? So sometimes we might have to learn that what politicians and celebrities and athletes display on ground is not what we want to model. But we should look at the other qualities that they have that will help our businesses move from where they are. The second thing that he says is a good mentor has to be available. A model should be accessible and willing to invest time and energy in you. You don't want to get somebody who is not available. For us to be able to observe models close, we need to be near them, and they have to be available, and we need to connect with them. So it requires accessibility from the mentor and the mentee, and availability. And to be actively mentored, we must have time to speak to people. And those who are mentors, how do you feel when you send your mentor a question or a text message and they won't even respond for a month? You would really feel bad. So even those who are seeking to get people to mentor, make yourselves available. Even the ones who are seeking to be mentored have to be available. If you're planning to go into politics, please, John Maxwell says, don't approach the president because he won't have time to mentor you. You might be seeking to be a pastor. Please don't go to Pastor Lincoln. He is a very busy person. Start off with your MC. Your Kent MC, your Craydon MC, or whatever MC. Start off from there and ask the leader, how do I become a pastor? Because Pastor Lincoln is at a level whereby he's now willing to mentor people who want to start churches. I could be willing to start a cell group, so I start off from my MC. So you want mentors that are available. So please don't shoot too high. You might want to run a country like the United Kingdom. You're not going to go to the king because he is at a level whereby he will be mentoring people who are at that level. So the same goes to our businesses and where we work. You might want to be a CEO of a company and your CEO is not available. But there are other team leaders within that organization that would take time to take you through things. So please, the second criteria is a good mentor is always available. So please don't shoot too high. You might have friends among you here that could be available to help you. So please don't shoot too high. The third thing is a good mentor has proven experience. A model should have a track record of success and overcoming challenges. And in Uganda, I always wondered when you're driving, you always stop and ask people who are coming from the direction where you're going, how is the road ahead there? It's like they'll be flashing lights, or I don't know how they communicate, and they tell you, oh, police are there. Do you have insurance? Do you have this or the other? So it's like there's a way they communicate. Even us here, when we are learning from models, you want to know how far has this model gone? What do they know? What influences have they had? Who have they inspired? Because you don't want to go for a model who's got no success, who doesn't know the road ahead where you want to go. Please read about these models. Read about their traits. Read about their availability. Do they possess skills that you want to acquire? What are their leadership skills when it comes to leading a business? How good are they with money? Do they have a history of not handling money well? So you would want to know what's the road they've been that you'd want to go into. I mean, we look at Worship Harvest and the way they are growing, and Pastor El has taken the trouble to study Worship Harvest, and we are like, we need to multiply as a church. But us as business people, in order for us to multiply or grow our businesses, who are the businesses or what are the businesses in our communities that we can look at and say, yes, this is where I want to go? So a good model has proven experience. The fourth one is a good mentor possesses wisdom. We've got so many talents here, but I was reading something in the book and in the chapter which really, I thought, oh my goodness. He talks about an expert who was invited to a farm and their machine was broken. So this expert comes with his hammer and he's looking around and then he taps on something and then this machine starts working. And then the following day, the expert sent an invoice for $1,000 and the accountant just went ballistic. And he was like, can you give me a breakdown of why we need to pay you $1,000? Remember, a good mentor possesses wisdom. They should offer sound advice and guidance. So this expert was very clever. For the $1,000 that he was demanding for his less than 2-minute job, he did a breakdown of the invoice. He put for finding where to tap is $1. And for knowing which area to tap in order to get the machine moving, $999. So if you're looking for a good mentor, look for a mentor who's got wisdom and experience, and please be willing to pay the price. I know this is a business service. We've been doing a lot of talking, and it's time for us to start paying for the lip service that people are offering. The other day, I reached out to a friend who, on behalf of another friend, who wanted advice for something that would take less than 2 minutes. And the person told me, Carol, let's set up an hour's meeting, and this is my prices. This is what I'm charging. So then I remembered she's charging for her proven experience in the area that I wanted knowledge. So some of you could come to me and say, Carol, I'm looking to set up a charity. I'm looking to set up a CIC. I'll give you 45 minutes for free. And the next minute, I'll send you a bill for the 1 hour. And if you ask me to break it down, I'll break it down for my time, because this is the business service. What are we doing? We are learning to get money, to grow it, and to guard it. So when you're looking for a mentor, look for a mentor that's got experience. Everybody agrees with me. So the fifth one is that a good mentor provides friendship and support. Please don't look for mentors who are so high and full of themselves, and they won't have time for you. I would advise that we look for mentors from within. You don't want to find somebody who won't even care for you. And it will be obvious that they are there just for money. They won't guide you in the way you want to be guided. Please look for a mentor that's interested in you as a person. Somebody who's not selfish because of their knowledge. because of their wisdom, but somebody who is interested in you as a business person, who is interested in you as a person, who wants your business to grow from where it is to where you want it to be. Great things happen when we see ourselves as God's gift to others. And, he says great things happen whenever we stop seeing ourselves as God's gifts to others, but when we begin to see others as God's gifts to us. So if somebody comes to me and they really need help with their business, or they really need help with their charity, I'll have to put the money side on the side because I'm seeing them as God's gift to me. But please don't take advantage of that as well. Yeah, because this is a business service. So please, when you're looking for mentors, find people that are available for you. Find people that will support you in what you're doing, and they're even interested in what you're doing. I've had a mentor from when I was at university, when I was doing my master's in development economics, and that person, we've stuck together. It's over 20 years. Because there's something about this lady that I wanted, and a friendship developed. So she's always looked out for me and is like, Carol, where are you in life now? In my previous job, I had a manager who was a friend and a mentor. We've now gone to different places. We are in different walks of life. But he will call me and he's like, where do you see yourself in the next 2-3 years? So because we've developed that friendship. But please, when you're looking for a mentor, don't look for somebody just because they're a celebrity. They might not be your friend. They might not be interested in what you're saying to them. And even having time for you will not even be there. So please be careful when you're looking for a mentor. The sixth one, a good mentor is a coach who makes a difference in people's lives. They should be committed to helping you grow and develop. That's your business. Don't go to somebody, if I'm in the care industry, I'm not going to go to somebody who is maybe a lawyer or whatever. They might not be interested in what I'm doing. But a coach is somebody who remains there and is valued and is always willing to know what you are doing and is available to help you make a difference in whatever you're trying to do. They help you grow from A to B. They help you improve in your potential. They help you increase in productivity. They help you have a positive effect in the community. So please, when you're choosing a mentor, make sure that that person is going to help you make a difference. If they're not going to help you make a difference in your life and in the community, please don't bother with them. They are not good mentors. So, what are good there are things John Maxwell talks about as good coaches share among, as in the common characteristics. One, when you're looking for a mentor, look for someone who cares for people they coach. It's not just about the money. Observe their attitudes, observe their behavior, observe their performance. We've got so many people in among us who have got businesses. So if it's a business you're admiring, what's the attitude the leader has? What's their behavior? How have they performed? I mean, if it's Bitcoin, I don't know if it's Bitcoins or robots, are they getting any money out of it? Do they align with your strength? Can they communicate and give feedback about their performance? Can they help you improve your life and your performance? So in really conclusion, the process of growing with a mentor begins with you having an awareness that you've realized that you need help and you're ready to start following somebody. Unless you get to that realization, we go back to the beginning of the slide where it says, it's hard to improve when you have no one else but yourself to improve. So when we are on this journey of looking for mentors for ourselves and for our businesses, we need to first come to that realization that I've been doing this business for 15 years and I've not gotten any profits. I've been doing this business for this how many years, but it's not growing. Do I need a mentor, or do I need to go to another business meeting for a coffee and have a chat with someone? But you have to come to a realization that we've started this business service, that I have a business that I've struggled with, but I need to find a mentor. The mentor might not be a physical human being. It could be a book. So you could start from reading a book. You could start from watching some good movies or YouTube, whatever. Sometimes you could start from just having a conversation who is not with somebody who might not be a mentor, but who has got experience. So please do not shoot so high when you're trying to look for a mentor. So, what's my call to action? Find a mentor and think about where you are currently now in your career or your business and in your life, and you want direction to go somewhere. So if you haven't found a mentor, I'm thinking most of us who are here, apart from the children that are going to school, we are in some form of employment or business. So please, if you want to grow your business, if you want to grow your career, I've wanted to grow my career in learning about the charity sector. And I'm always out and about at different meetings, meeting with people who run charities, but they are pastors, they're Christian business entrepreneurs, and they're all that because I want to learn from them. So who do you go to when you have all these different questions regarding your businesses or your personal life? I mean, who do you go to when you have questions about parenting? When you have questions about relationships? When you have questions about starting an MC? Who do you go to when you have questions on how do I move up in my career from being just an office clerk or coordinator to maybe a head of a team before you get to a CEO? So you need to have these questions before you can go to a mentor. And spend time. If you haven't, this is homework. I'll come back to you next time they give me the opportunity. Please spend time listing the skills that you would want to improve on. Because unless you realize that this area I need improvement, you might not be able to get what you want out of a mentor. There's a book I'm reading called Startup Mindset. It's by Pete Mon. He's a business person who started from nothing. He's on a Christian entrepreneur WhatsApp group I'm on, and I've met him when I've gone for meetings. Here are some of the things he lists for you to do before you can start looking for a mentor. The best way to use the mentor's time and your time is write down the questions that you want. And the first question he says, ask the mentor, how did you develop the discipline to get to the level where you are? Because you need to know how they developed that discipline. And the second question is, you ask your mentor, what's the one piece of advice you would give me as a business person, I've just improvised that, to be in my position? So what is that one piece of advice you would give us as business people in Liberty to be in the position that mentor is in? I could ask Mr. Cafero, what is it that you can advise me to do better like what you're doing? And what kind of skills should I start developing in order to accelerate in my career, in order to accelerate in my business? There are certain set of skills that you need to ask this mentor you've chosen. And the other question is that, what are some of the major distractions that have you come across? Not every mentor has sailed really well. They have some disruptions they've come up with. And how can I achieve a good work balance? This is a good question to ask because most of us are going into territories we've not been into. We are going into businesses we want to go into, but how have these people balanced their lives? Sometimes when we go to work, you hear somebody asking, oh, how are you balancing your life and work? Even mentors need to balance this. And what are some of the coping strategies you've used to reduce stress? You might see these mentors up there, but they have strategies that they've used to reduce stress. You could go to Pastor Lincoln and ask him, what strategy have you used to reduce stress of running Liberty Christian Fellowship? I think Pastor L could tell us. And the other question is, what are some of the sacrifices you've made to make an early achievement in the goals you've achieved? Sometimes we need to sacrifice to get to somewhere. So if you get a mentor, they've sacrificed something to be where they are. So please ask those questions. And the other question is, do you have any tips for expanding my network? What I've realized in the business world, because it's hard to improve when you have no one but yourself, you need to start networking. You need to start networking out of this building because the other networks out there that might help you with your business. So the question he asks is that, do you have any tips of expanding your network? And the other question is, what do you expect from me as a mentee? Because you're not just going to go there and this person is going to pump you with words and knowledge and advice, but you need to ask them, what do they expect of you as a person going to them? And what strength and weakness have you already identified in me? If I went to Jonah, I would want Jonah to be really candid enough and say, Carol, these are your weaknesses. You need to improve on them. And these are your strengths. We need to work on them. So when you're looking for a mentor, that person should be in the position to tell you what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are for you to improve on. And the mentor, one of the other questions you'd ask the mentor, what books have you read? Because mentors have read so many books, and some of those books could be a benefit to you. And the other thing, when you are meeting with your mentor, ask them if they have any feedback. How can we improve? Don't get a mentor who's not a friend, because a friend will be open enough to give you good feedback. And then ask your mentor, do you have any tips on how I can remain competitive in the business I'm trying to do? Because you need to know how to, it's a dog-eat-dog world there. There's a lot of competition. So your mentor should be able to tell you, this is how you do it. And what are some of the delayed habits that you can adopt to develop into your business? Because mentors have gone through certain stages and they've experienced some delays. So you need to ask those questions. I'm going to ask, do you have any questions? Because it seems like I've talked a lot. Do you have any questions? Don't ask me how to get a mentor because I don't know what your industry is. Yeah, it could be something I cannot tell you so and so is a good mentor. But please, do you have any questions about finding a mentor? When we go back to the second slide, it says it's hard to improve when you have no one but yourself to improve. Are you struggling to find a mentor? The other thing in this book, what I've learned, it says sometimes you need to decide, is it really mentorship that I'm looking for? Because not everybody really needs mentorship as business people. It's because sometimes your vision could be different, as in your business could be different. So you might not need mentorship. You might just need a business partner to work with. So the floor is open if you have any questions. Yes, please.
Whether what the difference is between a mentor and a coach. Is that too simplistic?
Thank you very much, Pastor T. And I have Pastor L in the house. He's going to help me define that question. It's good to have the senior pastor in the house. Yeah.
Can somebody ask ChatGPT?
Please, Elvin, log on to ChatGPT and ask.
No, there's a technical difference there. A mentor, I think, is about the expertise of somebody that you want to pursue, and you want to do what they do. So something in their skill profile is your focus, and so you want them to lend you time and space to explain how they do what they do. A coach, on the other side, you are the expert. The client is the expert. Because what a coach does is they ask you, what do you want? What field, what is the obstacle you face? So the questions are asked by the coach, whereas in mentoring, the questions are asked by the mentee. It may sound technically complicated, but you need to understand, a coach does not sit there for you to ask them questions. They ask you questions. Yeah, in the end, you may ask them questions, but it's to clarify your own profile. So, for example, to set up my online training site, I had a coach who I paid, and they had proficiency in the area of setting up online businesses. But we were completely different worlds. These were completely different businesses. But their capacity to show you the next steps is subject to you asking, rather subject to them asking you questions of where you want to go. So you have people who are business coaches, you have people who are life coaches, you have people who are spiritual coaches. They come completely empty. You don't even have to know where they have succeeded. You just need to know they are a coach and they cost this amount of money, and this is how successful they are. Then you come to them with your world and dump it on them, and they will help ask you questions. They will learn about what you are doing and then help you think through what you are doing without having done it before themselves. Tried to explain.
Thank you very much, Pastor Lincoln. I knew Pastor Lincoln would have an answer to that question. But I think, as Pastor Eld said, coaches are different from mentors, but you have to decide, do you need a mentor or do you need a coach? Depending on what you're doing personally, as a business or as a person. Yes, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pastor Carol. My question is, how do you know what qualities or behaviors I should aspire to? Then I look out for that mentor.
I think I might have touched that you need to study the person that you want to mentor you. What qualities do they have that you're looking for? Because I wouldn't know what exactly, Stephen, you want, and I wouldn't know the kind of mentor you'd want to have. So I could have somebody that I admire and they have certain qualities and behaviors that, to me, because I know this mentor, we are friends, I'm okay with it. But for your business or for you as an individual, there are certain behaviors and characteristics and qualities that could be in a person that you think, I want them to mentor me, but their behavior and characteristics is not good. John Maxwell says you have to get to a point whereby you close your eyes to the way these people are behaving and look at the gift in them. It's like sometimes when we look at athletes, I'll say an example, footballers. They are very good on the pitch. But when they're outside of that pitch, some of the behaviors they emulate are not the best. We could look at some of the politicians. They are very good at speaking to people, but when they're outside of that profession, the things they do are not the right things. But it depends on you personally. Is it the gift that they have that I want to use to improve myself or my business? Or are you going to look at their behavior, which is going to hinder you from getting to where you want to go? So I cannot tell you whether, oh yes, go for it because of the characteristics or the behavior. But you personally, Stephen, need to say, this person has got something that could help my business. They are not good on what they are doing, or in the public eye, or in the public eye they are good, but when they go into their personal lives, whatever they do is not good. Do you want to go for them as a mentee because of that? It's up to you. That's why I gave an example for professionals like teachers. That is a profession where it's very hard to separate the professional life from the classroom and from the personal life. Teachers have to keep being good in their behaviors and characters. But when we get people like politicians, when we get people like athletes or celebrities, that's a different case. But we have to get to a point whereby their behaviors and characters are not going to hinder us from accessing the gift that they have to help us get somewhere.
Yeah, thank you. No, so do we need coaching first to identify who we are before we look out for mentors? Thank you. That's all I wanted to add.
Is that a question or a compliment?
Now, for time purposes, my
Okay.
question was in that area.
Okay.
How do I know myself first? Yeah, before I look out for a mentor. So coaching will help.
So that's why, Stephen, you need to write a list of things that you feel you're weak in that certain area, and you're like, this is where I need improvement. So, Stephen, you have to start by having an awareness of the areas that you need help. Unless you identify those areas, a coach or a mentor will not be able to help you. Sorry, Pastor Grace.
No, I wanted to go back to that point about people might have the skill but not have the character to go with it. I thought from reading what John Maxwell said, he says people must not only display professional excellence, they must also demonstrate character worthy of emulating.
Yeah, sure.
So when you're choosing a model, someone to model on, you shouldn't be divorcing their private life. The reason why I think we need to be careful with this one is it's quite common amongst Christians, because we have this whole touch not the Lord's anointed thing, that we are strong on gifts and weak on character. But I think that it's wrong for us to separate somebody's gifts from their character. What he says is most athletes, celebrities, etc., want people to separate their personal behavior from their professional life, but such a division cannot really be made. That's what Maxwell teaches.
Thank you, Pastor Grace. Thank you. Jonah has a question. I hope he can answer him.
I asked my question and answer it. Actually, I have a question that I can answer. It's funny you say that. But I just wanted to say that the Bible also says, Paul writes to the Corinthian church and says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. And I think we should not forget that. So it's important that we don't lose that side of not just imitating because someone now has a lot of money, but not getting the whole package and trying to see that. The question I have an answer to is, can you have more than one mentor or one coach? And which I think is yes. That's my answer.
I think, yeah, thank you very much, Jonathan. And thank you talking about following. Even the Bible says, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. And so thank you. You could have many mentors. Thank you for answering your question, because not every mentor could be an expert in all the areas that you have questions to. Thank you.
I wanted to add a little there. Actually, it helps again distinguish between coaches and mentors. In real time, you can pursue multiple mentors. But at any one time, honestly, you can only handle one coach. If the coach is really doing their work well, they will run you around the block. You cannot run more than one coach at any one time, because the coach is very applied, practical. Go do this, bring back results. What did you do? Why did you not do it? Where is it? They are high motivation, high action support, whereas mentors is more study, emulation, imitation, and the kind of thing.
Thank you very much, Pastor L. So we should remember that it's hard to improve when you have no one by yourself to improve. And you cannot just have yourself to follow. You need to find someone to follow. As a church, we have other churches, other ministries that we are following. And as business people, or as personally, we need to find someone to follow. Please don't shoot so up high. If you have no one, start off by reading the books. And then through those books, usually what I find when people write books, they mention where they've gotten that quote. So you could be that you might start off in books and then probably buy the books that the person has recommended. But please find mentors that you can easily relate to. Find mentors that are friends. But if you decide it's not a mentor that you need and you need a coach, then go ahead as well and find a coach. But it starts from you being aware of the areas in your business, the areas in your life that you need to improve on. Unless you identify those areas, then you'll be wasting the mentor's time as well. So your homework is go and make a list of the skills that you're good at and your weaknesses. Then by the time you identify that mentor, you'll be able to say, these are the areas I want to improve in. I want to learn how to make money. I want to learn how to do this or the other. Thank you very much.